Israel has issued evacuation orders for large areas in northern Gaza as it prepares a new offensive. Israeli forces have also stepped up airstrikes across the Palestinian territory. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has again stated that his forces will achieve their goal of eliminating Hamas and freeing the remaining hostages.
Israel's latest airstrikes in Gaza have caused multiple casualties. Some of the dead were from one family, killed in an encampment for the displaced in the Al-Mawasi area. Children were also among the victims.
They bombed us while we are sleeping on the ground. We didn't do anything wrong. 2 of my children have died, and the rest are in intensive care.
Israel has issued a new mass evacuation order for northern Gaza, warning of imminent and intense military action. People in neighborhoods across Gaza City and Jabalia have been instructed to move south towards the coastal area of Al-Mawasi.
There's no flour, no supplies, no food or water. We are moving from one place to another. What have we done to deserve this? We are all in pain. We are all sick. Someone, please, find a solution for us.
As Israel stepped up its attacks, Donald Trump urged both sides to move forward in talks on ending the 20-month war. Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, "Make the deal in Gaza, get the hostages back." Israel's Prime Minister says this month's war with Iran has opened the door to the return of the hostages from Gaza.
I want to inform you that many opportunities have now opened up following this victory. First and foremost, to rescue the hostages. We will also need to resolve the issue of Gaza to defeat Hamas, but I believe we will achieve both missions.
The war has left most of Gaza's population displaced, often many times. Once again, they are on the move in search of a safe place.
Sarah Davies is a public relations officer at the International Committee of the Red Cross. She's just returned from Gaza, where she was at a field hospital. Evacuation orders in the north. How feasible is yet another mass relocation of Gazans to the south?
Good morning, Ben. Thank you for having me. What we know and what I saw when I was recently in Gaza is that people are exhausted. They have received sometimes more than 15 evacuation orders throughout the last 20 months. And every time they receive one of these, they have to pack up everything they own. I spoke to a woman who works at the Red Cross Field Hospital who received a call that her family was in an evacuation area. She had to walk 2 hours to the north to help her family pack things, to then walk back and find another place where they hope that they can feel safe, that they hope they can set up for at least a few days. But they do have to find then new sources of water, new sources of food, the medical facilities around. So it is incredibly challenging for civilians, especially in the heat that we are now seeing in Gaza, to be continually on the move like this.
Sarah, can I also ask you about the psychological complexities of ordering Gazans from the north to evacuate immediately to Al-Mawasi, while medics report a deadly strike on a tent encampment in the area, which is meant to be a safe zone, but has repeatedly come under fire in recent weeks despite the concentration of civilians sheltering there?
The psychological impacts of this conflict of the last 20 months, speaking to our mental health professionals, this will have scars. People will have the scars of this for decades. Children are growing up, they're being born in this conflict. There are 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds who only remember now living in war. The constant fear and anxiety of parents not knowing if your family will survive another night. I've spoken to people who say that they don't have any hope for the future right now because they have to focus on surviving each day because you just don't know if you will be alive tomorrow or be alive next week.
And when it comes to survival, there have been so many reports of civilians killed just trying to get aid. What have patients been telling you?
So I did speak to quite a few patients who are now at our field hospital, which is currently over capacity. We are at the moment at 160% bed occupancy because of the high numbers of patients that are coming in. And what they are telling me is devastating. They tell us that they have been injured trying to access aid distribution sites. I had a man trying to find food for his family, and then he asked me, how am I supposed to get aid from my family now? I'm injured. I have a gunshot wound in my leg that will take months to heal. What are we supposed to do? I spoke to a 17-year-old boy who had gone with his 14-year-old brother and had been injured. It really is incredibly challenging, and people are losing hope in Gaza. The patients I've spoken to, they ask me why this is happening to us, and unfortunately we don't have an answer for that.
What's it like for you being back in the relative safety of Jerusalem while the humanitarian catastrophe that you describe continues to unfold just kilometres away from where you are?
While I was in Gaza, I saw the work and the dedication of our teams at the Red Cross Field Hospital, the resident staff who themselves have been displaced, who have themselves had family members killed and injured. And I think that's what keeps us going, working here in Jerusalem. We continue to work. We remain dedicated to supporting civilians on the ground in Gaza however we can, to assessing the needs and responding to them appropriately. But we do call for a reinstated ceasefire, for the unimpeded and rapid flow of aid entry into Gaza so that people can have more access to food, appropriate food, safe drinking water. Hospitals can have medical items and equipment, things like shelter. We do call for this because our commitment remains to supporting civilians on the ground in Gaza, wherever they are, whatever their needs are.
Sarah Davies from the International Committee of the Red Cross, thank you very much for being on DW News.
Thank you so much for having me.